first running of the Derby. And welcome everybody to Assiniboine Downs for day 19 on the racing calendar, and another absolutely gorgeous day here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And welcome to ASD Live with myself, Marshall, and Stretch. Quick look back at Canada Day racing action last Wednesday. Stanley Chady Jr. and Rafael Zentino Jr. both had doubles on the card, winning 2 races each. And it was a mix of horses going to the front and winning and closing. So we'll see if that does play out again this evening, as we do have a mandatory payout that Stretch is ready to tell us all about. So let's just send it over to Stretch.
All right, thank you, Kurt. Yes, very exciting day. Potentially be the highest wagering day for Manitoba horse racing history. And that's thank you for all of the support for this season so far. With over $440,000, basically that is going to cover any of the money that's taken out. So this is absolutely the play for a horse player today. You can see that Marshall's very serious today. He's cut his hair, he shaved his beard, he's ready to go. So Kurt, let's start.
Okay, we're going to kick it off right here. A $1,500 claimer for fillies, mares, 3 and up. Non-winners of the year going 7.5 furlongs. 8 of them head postward. Marshall, start us off.
Okay, guys, let's do this. I've been waiting for this day. I've been excited since the announcement was made last week, and finally the day has come. So let's hope we can pick some winners. I do like the card. I think there are some tricky races. There are some races where you can maybe not necessarily single a horse, but maybe only go 1 or 2 deep and take some shots in some of the other races, spread out in some of those races, so you can put together a good ticket. But we'll get into the pick 5 in race 3. Let's fire up the card here. Race 1, we got back-to-back claiming 1,500 races to start the card. I'm thankful they're not part of the pick 5 sequence. They're not my favorite races, although I have to say they've been pretty formful this year. Other than one race that comes to mind where we saw a 17-to-1 shot go gate to wire, it's been the first choice or second choice pretty much winning every race. Today, I'm actually going to go with a long shot in here. We're going 7.5 furlongs. We've seen an advantage to any horse that can get the lead. In here, I think that's number 5, Chaquette. This horse is making her 2nd start of the year. She ran in a very fast race last time at the 2,500 level, so she's dropping slightly into bottom claimers here today. Looks to me like this horse could get a loose lead. She does have a win over the track from last year, and she's, if you go back to those Prairie Meadows races, she's got some back class as well. So for me, I like the stretch out on this horse. I think if she gets loose, she can be really tough. The other 2 contenders are the 7, Solon's Warning. Again, another horse making her 2nd start for the year. I do think this horse will be overbet likely though. The other horse I like is My Kind of Gal, number 4. You get a big jockey change from Samuel, who's still looking for his first win, to the other end of the spectrum, leading rider Antonio Whitehall. That's a change that obviously I'll take notice of. Again, the drop from 2,500 to bottoms. So for me, Kurt, 5, 4, 7 to kick things off.
All right, Stretch, what about you?
All right, good call. I'm with Marshall on a few of the key points. I don't disagree on the 5 going to the lead. My top selection, as he mentioned, I've gone to the 7. Talked about it last time, this race. This is a race that was written back on Tuesday, and we had the storm come in, so we missed the last 2. 7's going to potentially get a stalking trip, doesn't have to have the lead. Those had the nice tightener over a decent field for that level. I think he's going to get a good trip. I agree completely on the 4. Good move. That horse got a great change on going from post 8 to post 4 today. My long shot, this was my 25-to-1 shot, long shot, so I've got to keep her in there, and that's the 1, Fried Pickles. My comment why I'm using this horse is because last time it showed some speed. I don't think it's going to show some speed today. She runs well at the distance, 3 of 7 winning at the distance, gets the rail. Great way to hit maybe a long shot or exactor to get that pick 5 money. So 7-4-1.
Well, it looks like we're all over the map in this race. I sorted this one out, and I had a real hard time, but I went to number 6, Misenhauer. This horse has had 2 terrible breaks out of the gate in the last 2 starts, but last time out, what a great rally down the lane. I keep saying this, I'm watching these horses that rally down the lane hard, and I like playing them back, and Misenhauer fits the bill on that one. Now, whether it can get out of the gate is going to be the question mark, and maybe the position of the gate in front of the grandstand will be much better than back into the chute for Misenhauer. Showed lots of talent last year after arriving from Turf Paradise, ran some real big races, and I expect this horse to improve. Comes out of the Tom Gardapi Jr. barn, which you can never leave a horse out. So I'm thinking Misenhauer on a little bit of a long shot play. I also like number 3, Racing the Wind, taking a huge drop in class from the 5,000 non-4 lifer into 15 non-winners of the year. You cannot drop any farther than that. And those non-4 lifer conditions have been definitely solid. A couple horses that were in the non-4s dropped back into non-3s, did very well. And you'll see another one in the last race today, Speedy Miss. We'll see how she does after the race number 7 runs. But I think this is a massive drop for Racing the Wind. This horse should like the distance. There should be a little bit of a speed setup between the 5 Shaquette and the 7 Solong's Warning. So I think Racing the Wind, big chances. And I like number 8, Asha, also coming out of the Tom Gardapi Jr. barn. Ran an even race last time out going short. And those even races are even better when you go long. It looks like the horse can run all day. So those are my top 3, 6, 3, and 8. Now we're going to carry on to race number 2. This is a $1,500 claimer also for the girls, non-winners of the year. They're only going to go 5 furlongs, so Stretch, who do you like in this one?
Yeah, that's the key, Kurt, on the 5 furlongs. They don't write this as often anymore. They've kind of stretched out to 5.5, 6. So take note, 5 furlongs, things happen a lot faster. At 5 furlongs, jockeys have to make the decisions a little quicker rather than the longer races. The key here is the 2 horse. This horse, Cats West, ran very well first time out last year. 3 of 4 in the money at 5 furlongs. There was a vet scratch, but then there were 2 works after that. So brought the horse back. Understand, probably not the same as last year, but for this level, I think she can certainly win. You get to pick up Rico Walcott, who, if you're not sure who he is, he can ride. He's one of the top riders in Alberta. So I really like that he's picked up the mount. Really take note of how he rides today. You'll see how good he is. The next horse is the 8 horse. That race, the 8 surprised me last time with such a good effort. So got to go back to that horse whenever a horse runs that well. We get the killer combination, Jerry and Antonio, second start. I could go on, but it just gives you winners. Could not leave the horse out. If the 2's not ready, 8 can win. The 3rd horse I'm going to just throw in there is the 1 horse. Off a claim, was off a poor effort, so I'm going to forgive. Has a workout coming in. Maybe Sean has figured out this horse out. Not going to leave it out, but I do like 2 and 8 in the top and not leave out the 1 just in case. So 2, 8, 1.
All right, Marshall, what about you?
I agree with Stretch. I think the race goes through the 2 horse, Cats West. This horse is dropping. Certainly last year was racing much tougher to start the year, even closed off the year at the 2,500 level. If this horse is ready to go, I think the race definitely runs through her. I do like the 2 works. I can't remember, was that the horse was scratched at the gate last time. So
yes, it was.
Okay.
So I can't remember if there was a problem in the gate or not, but definitely was scratched on May 26th. But I do like the works since then. I like the 8 also. The horse I'm going to actually throw in here as a long shot. Keep in mind in these 1,500 claiming races, the horse that gets the lead can often take the field gate to wire. And I think the number 3, Peppermint Kitty, is the speed of the race. Now, that's the positive. On the negative side of things, the horse only has one workout, so we'll likely need a race, but this horse is a fresh mare with speed, has run well here at ASD in the past. They are only going 5 furlongs, so this is my long shot play. At 10 to 1, I'll definitely use this horse. If there's a duel between the 3, 4, and 7, certainly the race sets up for the 2 horse. So Kurt, 2, 8, 3 for me in the second.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on the 2 and 8. Antonio Whitehall did ride the 2 last time out well. He was on it in the gate till Cats West decided to sit down in the gate and was scratched. But Antonio is the top rider in the Jerry Gorno barn. That's why he's on number 8. I'm a Danger. I like both of them. Cats West, if she runs her race, she'll win this easily. She's a solid 5 mare, has been for the last 4 or 5 years. But my third choice in here, besides 2 and 8, number 5, Rush to Judgment. It's run some big races here at the Downs in the past. Last time out was the first start of the year, and actually I was impressed by it. 4th beaten 4, only a few lengths, about 3.5 behind I'm a Danger, the 8 horse. So Rush to Judgment should move forward. Doesn't have a pile of early speed and only going 5/8. Might be a little detriment, but if you're running for the third money, you can always rally in and try and bob someone at the wire, and that's why I'm going to 5, Rush to Judgment, underneath the 2 and 8. All right, on to race number 3, an allowance non-2 lifer. Kicking off jackpot pick 5 wagering. Guys, time to get excited. A 6 furlong race, 8 go to post. And Marshall, who do you like to start off the pick 5?
Okay, well, it's a good leg to kick off the pick 5. I think I've got 3 horses that I like almost equally, so tough to separate. I'm going to use all 3 of them on most of my tickets. Let's start with number 6, Del Vecchio. This is a horse that I've seemingly bet repeatedly, and the last 2 times to no avail. I didn't really like the ride on this horse last time. I was expecting more speed. I'm not sure if that was the horse or the jockey, but I'm going to give him another shot in here. He was closing a lot of ground down the lane in that race. And I do think if you go back to some of his races here at ASD, he is or can be the fastest horse in the race. So we'll see what happens here. Now the 5, Levant, that's another horse I like coming out of that same race. He showed good speed out of the gate last time. He tired late. He was pressed, and Percibility, the eventual winner in there, was just too much for him in that field. It's a nice horse for sure. I do think he can improve. Again, moved up in that last race. That was his first time against winners. So he should improve today. And I think number 7, Marcelin, nothing overly creative here. Those are the 3 top contenders. I think this horse should get a good trip. If there is a duel in here, he'll definitely be running late. So Kurt, for me, 6, 7, 5.
Okay, Stretch, what about you?
Yeah, Marshall called it. I've got the 6, 7, 5. The tricky part is how to figure out why you may not be able to key. You've got to try to determine if 6 goes after the 5, then it sets it up for the 7. If 5 gets loose, then 5 can win. If 6, with the multiple wins, gameness at times could just take over. Same way, 6, 7, 5. I've only got those 3 in there. A couple of the others are 3-year-olds. They've got a huge class jump, so nothing really to add. Just that's why we probably all are very similar and hard to key a horse. So yeah, 6, 7, 5, Kurt.
Yeah, those 3 horses finished within a long neck of each other last time they did run. But I also like number 3, You'll Like It. Had 1 start here at the Downs, and wow, did this horse test a tough one. As the winner, Strider's Ring, has since won 3 races since then. And impressively, each and every time, just the last night at Century Mile in Edmonton, More Than Stature, that horse came back and just absolutely crushed in its very next start. So it went against 2 absolute bears. So You'll Like It. They like the 5, 6, and 7. If you're looking for another horse to throw in, you can definitely throw this one in. And Honor Rules got left in the gate. Sure, it was a Manitoba bred. It beat a maiden as a maiden in a stake race, but visually impressive. The time wasn't, but the horse is definitely a runner. I'm with you on the 5 and 6, Del Vecchio, Levante being the speed, but You'll Like It. I like that one also, along with Marcelin. Now we're going to carry on to race number 4, kicking off $25,000 guaranteed pick 4 wagering. This is a maiden 5,000 claimer for 3-year-olds and up. They're going to go 5.5 furlongs. Stretch, who do you like?
All right, again, we get the sequence. Struggle in the pick 5, you got your pick 4. If you're alive in the pick 5, why not play another small ticket in the pick 4 to keep going, win twice as much on a great wagering day. Not an easy race because none of the horses in here really pass horses from there. So it's tricky if you think a horse has the most speed that can just keep going, or a horse that maybe can run evenly. Originally, I thought the 2, I kind of didn't like the last race, and then after I did the figures, I figured that the horse actually did improve the figures. It's kind of like, did the horse really lose the race? And how, when I look at it, is no, because the horse that beat him ran a really, really good race. Take out that horse, this horse would have won the race. The other key to that is the horse that finished 3rd ended up going in a maiden special weight last week and won. And that was a horse that I did like in there in a higher level. And so if I like that one, this one just ran just as good and actually beat it, I've got to back it. So I'm on the fence of almost keying this horse after doing the figures. I'm not going to key it, but I'm going to have it well up there. The 4 horse, very last chance. You know how we've all said, oh, one more chance on a horse rep. This is absolutely my last chance. This horse had a tough first trip, showed you the replay, then came back the next race, was in striking position, and then faltered. I'm not sure if something happened or not, but I just have to give this horse one more chance after that. The 3rd horse is the 8, the horse coming from Woodbine. Now, the lack of work's kind of worrying me. Nothing longer than 4 furlongs. That's my big red flag. Woodbine horses seem to, just like Hastings Park, more often need one start. And so there's talent. The figure's back on some of those races. Certainly is a horse that you could consider from there. After that, maybe the 6, the entry mate. You know there's not going to be a duel, so one of them are going to be sending. Basically go from there. So I've got a 2, 4, and 8, maybe the 6 on a small saver ticket.
Okay, Marshall, what about you?
I think this is definitely a spread race for me. I think that depending on race shape, if the 2 gets loose, I like the fact that he's shortening from 6 furlongs to 5.5. That'll definitely help. You get Whitehall aboard. No work in 21 days on the 2, so he's on the cusp for me. I would have preferred to see an interim work. I do think that the 2 could duel with the 8, the Woodbine horse. I do feel that Woodbine horses generally do need a start over the track just to acclimate to the surface. So if they duel, you know, I'm going with one of the firsters on top here. I'll give you stats on both of them, but the 9, II Captain John. This horse has great connections, Barry Arneson, Michael Nault, and get a load of this, okay? This is quite the family history. We've got 8 siblings, all have raced, all of them have won, and the stat that I like the most, 3 of them have won their debut race. So that's 3 out of 8. Further to that, you got horses like 8 the Hard Way, he's won over 160,000. El Gran Bebe won over 75,000. Include the Baby, 77,000. Scat Daddy Baby, 130,000. You see where I'm going with this? This horse has several siblings that can run, and I'll tell you what, in a wide open field, I'm taking this horse 8-1, might get a little bit more. I'm definitely using this horse on top. I'm going to use the 7, Governator, depending on how you say it. I think this horse has raced tougher last year. Shelley Brown can get him ready. This horse has steady works for the past 6 weeks. And I think, again, this horse, if there is a duel, could get a good trip. I think we could see a bomber in here. Kurt, 9, 7, 8 in the 4th for me.
Yeah, I got it down. I'm like Stretch here. I like the 2 to try and wire the field. Big Rocket Man coming from Woodbine. Governador has a couple nice workouts, 36 and 3/3/8. Then went 5/8 out of the gate and 102 and 1. Shelley can send him ready to go. Shelley Brown, that is, at first asking. And the horse ran against some tough ones earlier on. But it's going to be tough for this horse to show that on the pace running style, bang heads with which shortstop and win it. So II Captain John, that just might be a good one to throw in to finish off and get a price in your pick 4 and pick 5. Now we're going to carry on to race number 5 for this $5,000 claimer. For non-2 lifers, they're only going to go 5 furlongs in here. Marshall, you're the call.
Okay, this is a race where at first glance I thought, okay, this is a potential key for me. The outside horse, the 4-year-old racing against some 3-year-olds. Gold Diggin' Darling. I think this horse, the morning line favorite, will likely be odds on and will be a key for many. Last race, this horse raced against a monster, more than likely a stakes horse that more mo for me. The horse was not disgraced, actually ran a really good race. I think this horse is the most speed, and if she does get loose, she'll really be tough. I thought maybe the 3 Grey Ross Gracie rather could show speed as well and potentially duel. But I do think the race goes through 8 Gold Diggin' Darling. She hasn't won in 2 years though, but she has a ton of backlash, so definitely my first choice. I think if there is a duel race shape wise, it could set up for number 7 Mummy Wit. You get Whitehall leading rider, Gorno leading trainer. Lots to like there. The horse is coming off a big win, moving up from the maiden score, but definitely could set up for her, and she could be running late. So for me, Kurt, I went 8-7-3.
Okay, Stretch, what about you?
Yeah, the 8 agree with Marshall. 5 furlongs helps this horse a little bit, even if there's a bit of a duel on the outside. I don't mind that when they're going short. The only question is why drop? The horse is competitive. That would be only my small red flag. Agree with Marshall. 3 horse also has a late workout, which is good. 2 for 2 in the money at 5 furlongs. Again, the 7 is my third choice. If it was 5.5, I would be moving up the 7. But because it's if it was 5.5 or longer, yes, but it's only 5. Therefore, I've got the horse third. We'll be using on tickets, so it's 8-3-7.
Yeah, I really like the 8 in here. I think the reason Tom Gardapi did put this horse in here is the distance. 5 furlongs, you don't get it all the time. Most of the races are stretching out, but in the race office, we like to throw in those 5 furlongs every now and then, and they definitely fill, and Gold Diggin' Darlin' is in there. I think it and Grey Ross Gracie are the speed, but I think Gold Diggin' Darlin' is faster, and if she does clear in here, I think she's long gone. But I like her, Grey Ross Gracie, and Lauren's Little Star ran a big race last time out. Sure, not in a great time, but went to the front end after making a middle move and faltering. But since that race has worked a very nice 3 furlong work, 36 flat. Devin Gittins is a young trainer around here, and he is an up-and-comer that you're going to hear a lot more about in the future. I like Lauren's Little Star to get a piece of the top 3. Now we're going to carry on to race number 6 for the $2,500 claimer for 3-year-olds and up that are non-winners of the year, going 5.5 furlongs and Stretch. You're going to start us off.
All right, so if my keys are winning early in the pick 5 or pick 4, that would mean I'm going to have a bunch in here. If I'm struggling, I'm spreading early on in the tickets, I would basically be going with just 4 and 9 in here. The 9 makes the needed basically drop in class. Raced wide last time. Did get a little tired at the end, but it would it makes sense because it was a fast run race. If you put Norm in here, Norm's place, would he win? Well, he'd probably run second, but he'd still
I'd
be
still
up
pick
there.
him.
Yeah,
You both would.
anyway, there's kind of a comparison. Should take over late. It's just the class alone. The figures are there. It's the right drop. It's a good move by the trainer to do that. So I certainly need that horse. The other one that are basically co-top choices is the 4. Basically, the horse doesn't really move up in class. It raced wide throughout. I always like when I'm watching the race, and especially the replays, the jockey didn't ask this horse until the top of the stretch. So it's a really good sign. It means usually what I find is the horse wants to run. There's no reason to ask the horse. If you watch some horses that basically are getting whipped on the turn or earlier, it means they're not really that interested. So this was good. The jockey asked, responded, took over. Won't be as wide after that. And so it's those 2. After that, I've got some savers. It's basically 1, 6, and 8. Various small reasons, but I'll let the other guys finish it. So it's 9 with 4 with a bunch.
Okay, Marshall, over to you.
At first, I thought that this was a really wide open race, and I could see people making a case for any number of horses. The 1 vending machine horse was 45 cents, beaten Fave on the dollar last time. Again, for me, the horse hasn't won in 2 years. I could make a negative case for pretty much everybody in here. So the horses I zeroed in on were similar to Stretch. I do like the 9 on the drop, obviously. No work in 20 days, so again, borderline. And the horse did just finish 3rd at the claiming 3,500 level. So again, competitive, doesn't necessarily need to drop. but raced wide, kept coming down the lane. Faced much tougher last year at Canterbury and Oaklawn Park. So definitely a contender. I actually thought the 8 Talkin' Bull, the horse ran a pretty good race last time. He didn't go off as the fave. Maddie's Pro was in that same race out of the 12 hole, ran better, got the win. But I still thought Talkin' Bull ran a pretty good race. The horse was dropping from 5,000, didn't really seem to make sense, but has been claimed and comes back right away, which I like. I think this horse could improve. Neville Stevenson is great out of the gate, gets him out there, coasting on the front end. You never know. They're going 5.5. So again, that last one was 6. So it gets cut back slightly in here. So for me, Kurt, 4, 8, 9.
Yeah, I think the 5.5 furlongs have really helped Talkin' Bull. That 6 furlongs just seemed a little bit too long, being pressured on the front. But another horse I like with the 9 Greeley Spirit that we all do is number 3 Fungo. I liked this horse last time out. Well, Sean Samuel pulled the trigger a little early last time out, went after the leaders, and ended up tiring, but that was the first start of the year. Mike Taphorn has started off in good fashion already cracked a win, 50% in the money, and I expect Fungo to go forward off that race. He's a 9-year-old, hasn't made a lot of money, but boy, he had a good year last year, was able to come off the pace, go to the front, and I just don't think that Fungo will have enough speed to battle with the early leaders. But with the inside draw today, he might be able to just sit on the rail and wait. If he can do that to the head of the lane and then pull the trigger, I think Fungo will be a great long shot price, probably in about the 10-1 variety. And I think he could be the upsetter as Greeley Spirit draws outside and could get any kind of a trip out there. And with the bigger fields, that is the thing. He might be the best horse in the field, but if you don't get the trip, you're definitely not going to win. And I like number 6, Rocky Royale. I picked him the first 2 times. He ran absolutely horrible. Didn't pick him last time. Ran a good race, ran 3rd. This is a horse that when you see improvement on it, which I had in the last 2 years, this horse started winning. So maybe that little bit of improvement will start setting him up for the win. So I got to throw him in as he is a rallier from just off the pace. Now we're going to carry on to race number 7 for the $5,000 claimer. For fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and up that are non-3 lifers. Again, going 5.5 furlongs. And Marshall, you're starting it.
Okay, Kurt, this is actually my favorite play of the day. I'll go right to my top choice. Number 3, Speedy Miss. I really like this horse, making her 2nd start of the year here at ASD. Thought her first race was a really good race. It was a fast run time for the day. You get a slight class drop in here, a sneaky class drop. She was in the 5,000 non-winners of 4 lifetime condition. Now she's in 5,000 non-winners of 3. I think we've seen 2 horses do that so far this year. They've both resulted in wins. I think this horse goes right to the lead today and takes them all the way. My top choice in here for sure. I think the 7 will be the likely favorite in my opinion. Wits Dataling dropping in from 10,000 non-winners of 3. Actually the same race that the 1 Peepers coming out of. She did run a good race, chased wide, made a bit of a move and then tired late, whereas Peeper came up the rail. They were pretty close at the wire though. Her name is another potential contender in here, but Kurt, I'm going 3, 7, 8.
Okay, what about you, Stretch?
All right, so if my keys are winning, and hopefully they are, then I've got all in this race. Otherwise, basically 3 would be probably the key. Interesting on the 7, Jerry gave this filly a few extra days off. Seems this horse runs every week. 6 races in just under 2 months. So the horse clearly likes to run. Can't leave it out. The 8 horse, a couple things just note. Watch, doesn't help in your pick 5, but Grey Ross Gracie runs in the 5th, so it's a good comparison to see where this race stacks up for the 8. It was a bad beat at the wire. Fairy Barb came back and won at Century Mile the other day at a big price. Looks like a possible key race. So I'm right with Marshall there. The only one I'd probably be wary about that's in there is the 6 dropping twice and again and hasn't shown much. If that horse wins, it might beat me. I'm just not a big fan of horses that have 2 back-to-back poor efforts and drop again. So I've got 3, 7, 8.
See, I really like the 3 along with Marshall. I like the 8 Terry's Temper, who lost to Fairy Barb, who dropped in from a non-4 lifer. That's one of the winners. that went in the non-4 as a non-3 and took the drop back and got it done. Terry's Temper has run 2 big races back-to-back. Should have beat Elsie's Parade 2 outs ago, but Elsie came up the rail, had an absolute beautiful trip by Antonio Whitehall, where Terry was on the outside. Witt's Datalink is going to take a lot of money, another Jerry Gorno horse, but this didn't show a lot last time out, so I'm kind of weary about that. And number 10, Legendary Song, the other one of Jerry Gorno's, has 3 consecutive good races, 2 seconds and a third, but I think this horse is begging for distance. This 5.5 might be a little too short, but it definitely will be coming at the end. So if you don't like just a couple of horses in here, you might want to press the all button, at least in your pick 4 to save your pick 5s. But good luck with all your wagers today, and we'll come back with the changes on this evening's Carter Racing.